So a lot has changed over the last couple of weeks. We've made a lot of progress. We've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, cleaned up some space in the garage, put engines in the cars, and struggle with others. So stay tuned. So as you may have just saw, the parts are on the way for the GTO swap. The GTO is, kind of back into that shelf stage. We've all been there. If you haven't, you will be eventually. Got new stuff. No, we're not balling, and no, we're not sponsored by Haltech. And if you are from Haltech and watching, I wouldn't be opposed to being sponsored by Haltech. But seriously, no. Marketplace has been really good to me the last couple of months for one reason or another. This was another example of that. And in typical fashion, I'll be totally transparent with you guys. So this is a Haltech Elite 2500, 8 injector support, all that kind of stuff. It'll support LS setup like this just fine. And it'll give me the ability to do anything specific with ABS, the all-wheel drive, boost by gear, all that good jazz for $800. Now, I didn't pay $800 for it specifically. It was actually $1,500. And then in typical me fashion, I was able to get rid of some stuff I've been sitting on for a long time, old parts from my own trucking business and all that. Made a couple bucks back to get the total price invested down to $800. So, like I keep telling you guys, it's possible. It's possible. Have a plan, have some faith. If your gut's telling you to make a move on something, it's probably for a reason. Because literally, like the day after I bought this, I sold $700 in parts to help offset what I spent. So I'm not mad, and we're really excited because that definitely changes things. It gives me a lot more ability as far as the car is concerned, and a lot more options going forward, and that's always good. So a little bit about the GTO project and what I've got going on right now. So as you know, we got Holden Adventure parts on the way. They are in Korea as of today, like I showed you earlier in the photo. So they should be here sometime this month. Maybe later this month, early July. I'm not entirely sure, but they'll get here when they get here. I have a collection of Corvette transmissions. T56 over here, 6060 over there. Funny story, so that 6060 was supposed to be a T56. And long story short, supposedly has a bad reverse. It had the tunnel adapter on it that I needed, that we're in the process of trying to reproduce for everybody out there doing this same build on their Adventuras to make them 6-speed, or people who have Holdens like a Monaro like mine, aka GTO here, to make them all-wheel drive or whatever. Well, I sold that part thinking I had a duplicate of that part because I had those wrong transmission, because the guy had it listed as T56, so I thought I was going to have 3 of them. Well, I don't. I needed the 6060 anyways for this conversion because the kit only works that way. Well, long story short, it was $450. When I picked it up, it looked a lot bigger than I thought it was in the pictures. That's what she said. And ended up being a blessing in disguise. It's most likely either out of a Z51 C6 or a Z06 because it's got the fluid pump on the front of it, which I'm going to utilize and put a cooler on it because all-wheel drive or whatever. So I'm super excited about that. The problem is since I sold a part thinking I had 2 of the part, only to no longer have the part, to have to get the part again, I'm kind of back where I started, but it's not for nothing. I ended up helping a guy out in Australia who needed that part to finish his Adventure 6-speed swap. So neither here nor there. It's coming along. As far as the EJs are concerned, the 257 is done. I got the cams in to do the heads that I'm going to put on it. Those are at the machine shop. Stanley got those. I have the other heads that I acquired by accident that I'm going to try to flip to make some more money to put back into projects to keep this ball rolling. Because remember, I'm a small operation, much like you most likely are. Be that as it may, I'm going to have 2 sets of EJ heads I don't need. I'm just going to put them both up for sale. Whatever sells, I'll use that money. And the doesn't sell, I'll put on that short block there in the back. Right now, the plan is to put it into a STI. Don't have an STI. Eventually we'll acquire an STI. Before I get there, I got to finish some projects first. Like this Camaro. and finishing up some stuff on that Durango. So the Camaro runs pretty good. It's got typical F-body issues, like they all have. Fuel tank gasket on the top, magical electrical issue, the steering slack on the left side because somebody slightly larger had it and, you know, tugging on it on that left side, and now it leans to the left when you pull on it. Needs shocks, needs springs, could definitely use a brake upgrade. We're going to put a set of wheels on it out of a Corvette, little stuff like that. He's excited about it. I don't know if we're going to do an LS swap simply because everything works on the car, minus some really, really minor stuff. And I hate taking cars like that and doing this to them, because then they become never-ending projects. So remember, he's 15 going on 16. He's supposed to be driving this thing, so we're going to keep it that way. That, and if you didn't know, the 3800 actually has a really huge aftermarket, dirt track, some drag applications, etc. There's a whole following for the Grand Prix guys because they did the Grand Prix GTP or GXP GTP, I forget, the supercharged one. They came with a factory supercharger, and ZZP supports that 3800 series. So there's really no real reason to put LS in it other than the fact that you have one. Because remember, whatever we do, it has to be done within the scope of a high school kid's budget, much like the EJ25D and the Legacy over there. So that's the plan going forward. Outside of that, this has almost 10,000 miles on it, a little bit over now. And it's been pretty reliable. I'm about to fix this vacuum issue. This has kind of been dangling here because I wasn't sure what to do with it. So we're going to take this fitting, put it back in the intake like the factory setup was, and fix it. So that I have some positive vacuum, or some vacuum in the crankcase to kind of pull down the ring some. Trying to mitigate my oil consumption issue I got here, which is typical of strokers of any kind. But in this case, it's a little bit more excessive than I like, so I'm trying to get a hold of that while I can. The Subaru, way over there, it's turning a bit of a pain in my butt because it's not overheating per se, but it's not running as cool as I would like. Did the brake and oil change. Everything seemed pretty good so far. Oil is clean as a whistle. Coolant system's doing what it's supposed to do, but the temp gauge is playing with me in my feelings right now, and I don't like it. I don't know if it's the gauge on the dash, if it's the sensor, or if I do have a phantom progressive overheating issue with a head gasket or something, which I hope not, because those are very expensive Kinetic head gaskets on there. We did follow the torque procedure, brand new bolts. Everything was done about as well as you could do it, but as we all know with this, that doesn't mean you're not going to have an issue. So I'm hoping I don't. But bigger radiator, built a custom shroud and all this other stuff, and it's been a whole thing. The car does drive good. It runs good, sounds better, fixed some exhaust leaks, did all of the things that you could possibly do to an old Japanese car, and in today's day and age. So outside of burning it to the ground, we're just trying to get the odds and ends taken care of so my oldest can drive it, and well, drive it without worry, because he's not a mechanic clearly and doesn't really care to be one. So I'm not trying to send him a you got to fix it as you go type of scenario, because that's going to make it more problems for me. Outside of that, the last couple of weeks, that's all I really have going on. We're going to take the Durango to Florida here next week for vacation. That'll be the furthest we've taken it since the new engine's been in there. I'm not really concerned about it. It's been hot lapped to Oklahoma City a handful of times. We drive it every day. It's gotten regular oil change. It's actually due for an oil change. We're going to do that next week, so a little bit closer to time of departure, keep driving it. I am eventually going to get it supercharged, but before I do that, I need to upgrade the pump in the tank, and then after that, it's literally just bolt it on and retune it, and then it'll be done. Cosmetically, I'll probably do wheels and a drop, and reluctantly, I might have to do an SRT front end, because the cooling system's fine, it's working, but it's just on the edge of when you start to really work it and beat on it a little bit, it starts to get a little warmer than I like. Not by much, because it's like, just above the quarter mark, if you're familiar with what the dash looks like in there. But when you start really leaning on it, especially when it's hot out, it creeps and then it hangs up there. And I don't like that because that's heat soaking a little bit. So we might have to do an SRT front end on it just to help give the heat somewhere to go. Because right now with the factory RT hood, it just kind of soaks in there and I don't like that. Same thing's happening with the Legacy. I might have to do something with that too. But that's it. That is it. We are winding down on some projects and getting ready to gear up on others. Going through this Camaro here, finishing up the Durango there, working out the coolant bugs in the Legacy, and then soon we're gonna get hot and heavy on this. So that's exciting. I'm just trying to work my deals when I can, you know, make a little money here and there, and just keep this progressive nature of the summer going while doing what I told you guys I was gonna do, driving these cars. We drive the shit out of the Durango. Like it gets driven every single day. We're going to work in it tonight, actually. The Subaru, once I confirm whatever's happening at the cooling, either it's a bubble I'm chasing around or a heat soaking scenario, it'll be good to go. Coming through this Camaro, and then he can start driving it since he finished driver's ed last week. That's it. The Range Rover just got brakes. That was a pain in the ass, in case you were curious about that. Because it's so smart that if you treat it the way you treat literally any other car doing certain things, it'll just lock you out of the car. I didn't know that was a thing, but it literally locks you out of certain processes in the ECU by being overly aggressive, like bleeding the brakes and stuff, which I didn't know was a thing. But that's it, man. We're out here wrenching and working and wrenching. So for right now, that's pretty much it. I know it's been a while because I'm just trying to focus on getting things done, and I can't do that and then do this simultaneously because it takes a lot longer. So hopefully you guys understand. But I haven't forgot about the GTO. It's a little bit of a mess in there. Your garage is probably a mess too, so don't judge me. But we are getting things done. I was super excited about the Haltech purchase, and then the subsequent recovery of some funds by getting rid of some stuff I didn't need, because that made the purchase that much sweeter, on top of the fact that it was a good price. And I made a friend, Army vet, ironically enough, with a case-swapped right-hand drive MR2 that he bought pre-COVID for like $8 grand, shipped from Japan for $8 grand. Beautiful car. So we're out here doing it, man. We are out here doing it, and I hope you are too. Weather's nice for now. It's been raining the last couple of days. It's supposed to rain the rest of this weekend maybe, but we are getting things done, one project at a time. But yeah, I'm still here, still doing it, still getting things done. Working on this reproduction proposal. I'll keep you guys up to date on that as I make progress. And that's pretty much it, man. So I'm gonna get back to my projects, and hopefully you get back to yours. Thanks for watching.